Okay, we're going to install a new safety button on the Remington 870 pump shotgun. The ones, as you know, that come on the gun are just very small. I avoid even using the safety so that I don't have my finger so close to the trigger trying to find this. But there are two companies that make a great upgrade. One is Wilson Combat, and this is a dome-shaped, enlarged with a texture. This is machined out of a single piece of stock. Vang Comp, V-A-N-G-C-O-M-P, sells one as well that's just as good. But I really like this Wilson Combat. It's black. It has the red coloring on the one side. I really like this. So let's install this. Pretty straightforward. If you have an 870 with a side saddle on it, these two pins may be replaced with screws, hex screws and shafts, but it's still just two pins going through there. So in this case, I'm just going to tap those out, and just any punch will do. It has to be long enough to push it all the way through though. And so I've got the smaller pin on the front, and this has a notch on each end, so you can put it back in either way. You don't have to put it back in one direction first, all right? So this is the larger pin in the back, and then now the action should be, this trigger group, should be loose, and it'll come out. And so we just want to be a little bit careful not to mess with any of the parts. This is a police magnum, so the springs and other parts are more duty rated. It's a little bit better with a metallic or metal trigger guard. All right, so there's a little pin right here that has to come out, but I want to be careful and put my thumb over this hole so that spring won't go anywhere, and then push that pin out. You see I got the little small pin, and then I have the punch in there. I'll back the punch out, and then I'll try to get this spring. I'll tap it, and that spring falls out. Now the safety will come right out of there. Either way, it'll come right out. Should come out anyway. Pretty easy. All right, it's just a little sticking in there. If any of this is dirty, or built up with dried up oil, you'll have to really clean the whole trigger group and service it. It's a good time to do that, to be honest with you. And then that is the old one. This is the new one. All we do is just put it in there with the dome part to the right there you go. And then drop the spring in, back in that hole. This goes down in that hole, and then we're going to take a punch that's big enough to hold the spring in, and then I'm going to press this down, and then while I do that, I'll insert the pin on one side. Then I'll put pressure on it so that as I let off on this punch, the pin catches the top of the spring, and that should go right on through. Let's see. Yeah, see and then if I just put pressure on this pin as I raise the punch, it'll capture the spring, and then it'll go across this back in there. So now we're working. I'll just function test it. And again, if there's any crud in there, it may keep this from being crisp. If you have like a 20, 30-year-old shotgun, all of that oil will build up in there. It's a problem. Now, you see this, this action release lever, it sticks out a little bit. So when we put this back in, make sure that goes inside the groove here, or the cavity, and then put the trigger group back in. This lifter gates, just to, fit it in there, and you'll find a sweet spot there where this thing will pop back in. And then all we have to do is put a couple of pins back in. I'm just going to get them started, and I'll move the trigger group around a little bit till I find the sweet spot, and those pins will tap back in. I'm not going to bang on the receiver. I probably should be using a rubber mallet. And then I'm just going to touch these pins, make sure that they're snapped in to their detent, and I'm done. So now I have a safety that under stress, you can see that it protrudes out, very easy to find. And now this, boy, I love that. That is so much better. Now I can actually feel comfortable using the safety.